Welcome to an episode. I actually don't know what episode this is. This is like 6?
Something
5?
like that.
Episode 5 of Reclaimed Fate podcast, May 4th, 2016. It's been a while. We have a familiar face and an unfamiliar face. Nate, you've been on... Nate, you were on the first episode.
Yes, I was. I am the lead programmer of the project. And I have here with us also Law Stout.
So it's tradition law to have everyone explain the story of how they got involved with the company.
Alright. Well, has Luis been on the show already?
Yes.
For those of you listeners of past shows, I know Luis in the same graphic design program, and he knows a few of these guys, just like from school. So, he told me about this cool project they're working on. First off, it's not the ass,
Yeah, go.
We forgive you.
It's like, hey, I need money. They were like, nah, son, can't pay your bill too. And then I saw Luis was having such a fun working on this. So I was like, damn, maybe I should just go for that. So here I am now. I'm with this crew. Happy I'm making switch. Still broke.
Yeah, we're happy to have you. Still broke.
But our goal is to change that sooner or later with this project. So
Yeah.
here's to that.
Well, what has been your most exciting moment so far being on the team for the time you've been on?
I've never had to do an actual project with my style of process, but the way I've been drawing all the characters is the way I just draw everything, because my end goal is to, be a character designer and just actually finally doing the whole thing. Because now I have a project that I can say is official and real. Just soon can.
Yeah, I think that's kind of what we're all excited about, is each individually working on it
Also,
and
Yeah,
seeing
definitely.
the stuff you make come to life.
Right.
So today, being Friday, in the future time, we announced our new smaller project, Glory Intergalactic Conquest,
Ta-da!
which Law has been doing some art for, and Nate has been helping me with the design work on. I don't know if you
Yeah.
want to try and describe the game, Nate.
Okay, so it takes a lot of similar aspects from other card games, but we have some new spins on it. The whole premise of the game is, all these different races from different reaches of the universe come to try to take over this new planet. And they fight, and each one of the races is a different type of card, I guess you could say. So we have, Svets, we have dragons, a bunch of other weird named beings that you're not familiar with yet, but will soon be acquainted with. And then there's different classes in each one of these races. There's mages, wizards, warriors, and each one of them has their own specific hero. And the hero is really the main concept of the game. They're your trump card, I guess you could say, and once they die, you lose the game. So once your own hero card dies, that is. So the whole point is to try to destroy the other person's hero, and you use these other cards called creatures. And what creatures do is they're kind of like your minions, and you build them up, and that's what you attack with for the most part. So yeah, that's really all there is to it. We have different types of event cards and artifacts that we're throwing in there too. It's a really cool concept, and I've enjoyed playtesting it lately.
What is your guys' experience with the other card games besides ours?
Well, I've played Pokemon the trading card game. I know you play that too, Barry. I don't know about you, Law,
Yeah.
but or have had any experience with it. Yeah, it's pretty simple, but it's a lot of fun. I've also played some Hearthstone, and that's pretty much it. I haven't really touched Magic. I don't know about you guys.
For me, I was mostly the kid who, like, I had a whole box of Yu-Gi-Oh cards, but I collected all those just for the pictures. I never really had to play it.
Right.
I collected cards for it, but,
I think that went for like a lot of us.
I was talking about DC deck builder earlier.
Oh yeah.
I haven't tried my hand at Hearthstone or anything, but that's the extent of my experience.
A different kind of card game.
I wonder how they would make that a collectible card game.
It's the Boop edition. I'm sure that's collectible now.
So what are we trying to do with this project? Basically, we already had an RPG we were making, and we were pushing really hard, and then suddenly we come out before that game's even done. We were coming out with a card game. We're mostly just trying to give us a project that we can get done before the other project, to give us some buzz, I guess, to get people to know who we are, and it'll help people get on our project if we've got something physical to show that we've completed, and it could also be a good source of revenue and things for the company.
Because Disharmony is a huge undertaking, and it'll take a lot of, extra things to make it happen, and by putting out this card game, if we have some revenue from it, we'll be able to make it even better than what we have now, bring on more people since we'll have a name, so on.
Right. Law, I don't know what art or anything you've done so far for the card game. I know you've done a lot of art for Disharmony.
Currently just working on logo type stuff, so lettering. So the GIC has been written
The
about
GIC.
1,000,000 times over already.
The GIC.
Tell your friends about the gift. It's coming.
GIC. Glory, Intergalactic Conquest.
And we're just the company of names that take you way too long to say.
Yeah.
But explain your art you've done for Disharmony, what that process was like, and what you're like looking towards or thinking about when you're doing that.
So right now, I've just gotten a whole bunch of character descriptions. Me and a team of other guys, we all take the characters as fast as we can work on them, and get the description, and we just kind of mull them over. The process usually goes, Pinterest, Tumblr, looking for examples, influences, and then with the pencil paper and actually make the damn thing. I always start with like a base and figure out how big the character is going to be, so I can get the overall body shape, and then just figure out all their little niches and details, their accessories, and a lot of time when you're actually drawing the accessories, things like that, you start to think of the backstory for the character, plus what you've already been given. So it's all about giving the character personality through what they look like on a flat page, because at the end of the day, these are just going to be 3D models in a digital space, but it's partly my job to give them that flesh and bone that's going to make them be a character that you like and grow attached to. That's
Right.
the end goal.
Well said. What is the process going to be like? Do you know at all of trying to, like, what changes between the 2D model and the 3D model? Like, what details do you lose or gain or anything?
I feel like, I don't know, unless there's a certain style, my style typically isn't too stylized yet, for the sake of cohesiveness, and I guess I just kind of contradicted myself. I don't really have a style for the characters, but it is developing as I keep going. So
Right.
yeah, I just went on a rant. Repeat the question again.
What details do you lose or gain from switching to the 2 to 3D?
Strictly speaking, from a lot of the concept art I've been looking at lately for Overwatch, it really depends on who you have to do it. I feel like there's nothing to be lost going from a fully fleshed out figure if I do my job well enough to make it, conceivable in that type of space. So there's some stuff that you just probably wouldn't even notice if it wasn't 3D. Maybe a square or a panel that maybe is just a little bit off of somebody's armor or chest plate that you just don't get when it's on a 2D surface. It's just translated so much better. Personally, I have a big gripe with CG films, but at the end of the day, the thing that makes those films and characters and models great is that they just portray things in a way that you wouldn't be able to in a 2D space, whether it be the gleam of somebody's gems or crystals in their gauntlet, or just the sheer size that you get when you see that model in comparison. It's just that actual life.
Right. It's easier to see it, like imagine it in a fully realized space.
Yeah.
But you mentioned Overwatch. So have you been playing that at all lately? I know the beta just came out a couple days ago.
It's
Super cool.
And been on it non-stop. Not really a shooter guy. I prefer my 2D fighters and whatnot, but it's got me hooked. But yeah,
So you think you're gonna pick it up once it comes out?
I've already pre-purchased it.
There you go.
I know we'll be having a Overwatch stream here in the next week or two.
Yeah, are we waiting for you and
Yeah, I
Joe,
think
our
we were gonna wait till the
new
release of it.
CEO?
Yeah.
Okay. Which I think is the 24th?
Yeah, 25th.
Yes.
I will not be here when it officially launches.
Ah.
Definitely, so I'm gonna have to wait till I get back on the 10th.
Yeah. It's
We might
rough,
do another
man.
round.
I'm sure we'll be playing it.
One of the cool things, though, the reason I could be here is because I'm in Italy. One of the settings for the game happens to take some influence from that. So that's going to be a really cool way for me to get some influence to go into the characters, make them a little bit more authentic. So the game comes out and be like, hey, yeah, guys, go do real research into these characters. So it's a good.
Right.
Yeah, you should take a lot of pictures. You can use them for reference.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, definitely. That's
I know
exciting.
for Fallout 3, the guy went to DC to take pictures of stuff so that when he destroyed it, it would still look close enough to the real thing. And he said he was taking like close-up pictures of the tile work, like crouched down on the ground, and all these old tourist couples were looking at him like he was crazy.
Yeah. Being able to go on location for reference work must be so fun. That's something I hope to do a lot of.
Yeah, it seems like that would be the best part of your job if that's what you do, is like getting out and actually seeing the stuff and then being able to bring it back to the office and actually make it.
Just one small portion.
So Nate, are you still here?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay. What are you looking to for making Back to the Card Game? Like, what is your process going to be to make a computer card game that can still give you sort of like that tactile feel of playing on a physical
Right.
table?
Yeah. So I've definitely been drawing a lot of inspirations from other card game layouts and just like the movement and fluidity of it. And I'm taking notes on that. I've been playing a lot of Hearthstone and Pokemon card game online to just, see the layout of it and everything. it's a lot different than making a game like Disharmony because it's more like organized and right there in your face. There's not really anything like hiding that you have to really worry about. I mean, the card game, it's right in front of you. So I've been working on trying to like obviously finalize the last touches on the mechanics of the game with Barry and just coming up with all the cards we need. But on the technical side of things, I've been also trying to get like, you know, all of the different card qualities and their makeup programmed in, so we can start at least testing, you know, how they interact with each other in the engine. And it's also different because, you know, it's 2D for the most part, so you don't really have to worry about much in terms of modeling or, you know, trying to map different assets, you know, like moving an arm or something like that. It's kind of just like telling the card to be picked up when you click on it, and then you can drag it and then just place it over other cards. I know one of the ideas that we had for a while, not too long ago, was, you know, when you set like equipment on top of a creature or whatever, they would like morph together into a single card, and like the art would change. And I thought that was the coolest idea ever, but right now we're kind of facing the problem of, okay, so we have this many creatures and this many weapons and all of these other things. That's like almost an infinite amount of combinations for art. So will we find a way to work around that? I'm not sure yet, but you'll be the first to know. I know that I know that another...
Well, do you want to say how many cards we're going to have at release?
At release? Shoot, was it like, what, 600? I don't...
525 cards.
That's close enough.
Ooh, how many of those are just like the heroes themselves?
Only 15.
Yeah. Because you have a hero for every race, and then that's broken up by their class too.
So there's 3 heroes for each race?
Yeah. As of
one
the
of each
first
class right
series that we're releasing. Another side note, back to actually making the game, I've been thinking about, like, you know, you have like the layout on the screen. You know, your cards are all out in their different spots, and you know, we can decorate the screen however we want, but I want when an event card is laid down, I want the like table that it's being played on or whatever to like change. So we have a card called like Field of Thorns or something like that. I want like these like viney, spiky, you know, like thorn whip kind of things to like come out of the table and like wrap around it, and they can like go over the cards like on the corners and edges to kind of like show that like, okay, you can't move or else you'll get hurt by these thorns. So that's another cool thing that
there's a lot
I've been
of cool
thinking
stuff
about.
we could do.
Yeah, the options are really limitless for this game.
How would you say programming for this game and thinking about it as like a 3D Spaces is different from the work you've done on Disharmony?
Yeah, so there's definitely like a lot of different like depth to it. When you're making a card game, you know, not to get too technical on everyone out there, but it's more so like you're worried about smaller kind of mechanics, like, okay, so how is like damage going to work? And I mean, it's similar to that of making like a RPG game like Disharmony. I mean, you get hit, you take damage, you know, just decrement the amount of total health, but it's more mathy. You know, you're trying to like make sure the cards get like randomly shuffled, so there's like a random number generator in there or something like that, which unfortunately for a lot of programming languages, the ones that are built in aren't very great, so we'll have to devise our own probably. You don't have to worry as much about like, you know, clicking on different things, and so there's a lot less like human like software interactions, because all you're really doing for the card game is just, you know, interacting with the interface. You know, it's like basically you're just playing on this like menu sort of thing where all you're doing is clicking and dragging cards. So I think, you know, for a first game, it's a lot more reachable than something like Disharmony, because, you know, that's a huge game with a lot of
Is
different
that very
aspects
much?
to it.
Is that very much different though than like a menu-based, turn-based RPG?
Yeah, I mean, it really depends on like what you're talking about. I mean, if you're talking about like, you know, Disharmony being like a 3D kind of game, something comparable to like XCOM, then I feel like it's totally different. Now, I'm not obviously an expert on the subject because I'm only in college right now, but, you know, I feel like I can safely say, and I've seen some of like the code used for different card games. You know, just even like reading up on like how solitaire something works on your like Windows, you know, you really get like a good understanding of like how it works as a whole versus how something like Disharmony works, where it's like you have to worry about all these different things like combat and all that jazz. So
Right.
it's just like you know what you have to focus on for the card game, because there's not really anything too dynamic about it. I mean, it's all right there in front of you.
So, hearing that there's 525 cards that all need art made up for them, does that like intimidate you at all, or what are you thinking about?
I mean, I don't know if I said you did that shit my console a bit, but I don't know, it makes me start thinking about a nice system for it all. If there's gonna be that many, whether it be, you know,
What do you mean?
just recoloring or having the design be as such that you can just take certain elements from one card and incorporate them into another card. That could also maybe help with that, you know, combination system. So maybe me designing will have some effect on how the card game comes out, or, you know, that's just how some games come to be, where things I haven't even thought about came about just because of the game.
Right. Well, the like classic example of that, and maybe this is what you're thinking of also, is Borderlands, right?
How so?
Where that was like a Call of Duty style looking game, super realistic before the first one came out, and one of the concept artists just drew up like what it would look like if it was a cell shaded cartoon game, and then that day, I think they had 6 months to launch, and they switched the entire art style right then.
Yeah, exactly. But,
So art can be pretty influential in how like gameplay goes and how design goes. So when you were talking about like dragging something from one card to another, is the difficult part the physical drawing of the card, or is it more like designing what something will look like than it is just drawing it out?
the hardest part is just actually making it look good once you have the idea. Like, maybe I've done a whole bunch of sketches, and a lot of them just aren't looking the way you want them to exactly. Just getting them to look the way I want it, but for me personally, that's usually not a problem, because, not to sound like pretentious or cocky, but a lot of the stuff that I draw that I call bad, people will still be like, oh, hey, that's great. But getting that balance, because you don't want things to just, even if they're in a nice system, to look bad to you, even if they look good to other people.
Right. I feel like a lot of college and being young is that like anyone who can do anything, people are impressed by, but if you like actually went to try and get paid to to do it, they would be like, this is not good enough.
Exactly, that's how I feel. Exactly how I feel.
Yeah, it's the difference between like doing it at your high school talent show and actually going out and trying to get paid for it.
Yeah.
It's a hard knock life.
To the whole art industry is because all lot of cartoons, and there are a lot of illustrators that are just kind of subpar that I feel shouldn't be doing a lot of the work that they do.
Well, and there's that whole thing of Disney, I think it was in the 80s, where you can literally see guidelines on a lot of the final
Oh yeah.
animation and artwork.
What do you mean?
Like, I don't know what that's called, but like the cross hatching, you know, where you draw the face, where you do like the line across and then they meet where like the noses or whatever. That would be like visible in the final movie.
Oh, you mean just like the underlying structure of the characters?
Yeah, the guidelines, right, or whatever. The
Story.
yeah, those would be, you could see those in the final movie that you went to go see at the theater.
Yeah.
And that was Disney, so
Yeah.
I think there's a lot of room for improvement out there. And based on what I've seen that you've done for us, you could definitely add a lot of good work out there.
Flair.
The goal is comic books and animation, and then video games. But it's the first step, so 1 of 3 crossed off.
Yeah, definitely.
So one of the things we kind of touched on, and maybe it's just assumed, but we haven't actually said it yet, is that Glory is going to be a PvP game
Yeah.
where you're going to actually play your opponents over the internet.
Right. So that'll be interesting because Disharmony was all PvE and pre-programmed, enemies. So we'll definitely have to learn some like .NET or something like that. I'm sure there's stuff we can out there that's available to the public for source for a lot of PvP. But yeah, that's something different for programming that'll be really interesting to tackle.
Yeah, we'll have to set up like our own servers and stuff and whatnot.
Now, explain this. I don't know what you know in terms of Steam, but do they host PvP servers, or do we?
I think they can. Let me see. Development tools. Doing some on-the-fly research.
Because I know there's games out there that the servers just suck for. So, I assumed maybe that's just the development or the developers servers. They're just down or something. Because Steam's working fine, but yeah, I'm not up to date with how that works.
So it doesn't look like they offer servers.
So that'll be interesting.
Yeah, we'll have to build a box for servers.
Yeah. I wonder how much, I don't want to go into too much detail about it because it's not important right now, but, how much... Because we've never really, had to think about that before. So I don't know how much data that'll use, running in the background, but...
Yeah, we'd need a business line
Yeesh.
to, or we'd have to rent a server farm somewhere or something.
Something. It's something to look into.
I think it's definitely doable, though.
Oh yeah, we can do it. I mean, it's one of the least of our worries, I guess. We'll figure it out.
Yeah, the thing that's going to be crazy is going to be balancing all these cards against each other in 5 different races and making them all unique and separate enough.
Yeah, we've seen that, playtesting it, because you, me, and Joe spent a few hours cutting out the cards and then playing them, and some of them worked really nicely together, but we have to go back and change some of the stats and what level we think they ought to be. So yeah, it's really interesting seeing some of the dynamics, but it's still definitely a work in progress in terms of stacking against certain cards against others, because we don't want to make it too like overpowered. It's like, okay, I'm playing this, I know it's gonna be good against this and this and this. Like everything needs to have some sort of balance together. That's my thought.
Right. And I think at least the 2 races we have done now seem different enough from each other.
Oh yeah,
thematically and like what they do.
I agree.
But it'll be interesting to see if we can keep that going across everyone.
I think so. It's just we have to like, it's one of those things where you have to really know what you've made. So first of all, you can see like, okay, so we have these 2 and they work together nicely, and this is kind of what we did with it. But you have to like know what you did before, that way you don't necessarily like repeat everything, because we don't want to make repetitive cards. Like one of my gripes about the Pokemon game is that, you know, and Pokemon's a simple card game, and it's made for like younger audiences too. A lot of like the card descriptions and like what they do are very similar, at least for like a good majority of the cards. And sure, like
sometimes the only thing that sets cards apart is what energy they cost, right?
Yeah,
like, but a lot of cards are very similar to each other.
Yeah.
That the game is focused towards. With Magic, there are all these crazy descriptions that go on because that's focused towards an older audience. It's got all this experience with the game. Pokemon is made for 10-year-olds getting into the game.
Right. Yeah. That's what I'm saying too.
But Magic does a good job of like keeping all the colors feeling different, but then at the same time you can't have a color completely lack something, so I think it kind of like degrades that clear boundary between all of them and makes them all, at least last time I played, they all seemed reasonably similar except for some standout utility cards.
Right. I haven't really gotten into Magic. I mean, I've played it once or twice, and to me it's like, unless like you've been playing it for a while, it's really intimidating for beginners.
Yeah.
It's a very complicated game. Like when I've touched Hearthstone, like I got into that not too long ago, and it wasn't like simple, like Pokemon simple or like Yu-Gi-Oh simple, but it was like complicated enough to where it's like you could still, you know, plan certain like strategies, and anyone could really just jump into it. Like when I first jumped into it, I wasn't really intimidated at all. Like that's kind of the complexity that I think is like good to shoot for, because you don't know what kind of people are going to be playing the game.
Right, and we had Sarah come in and
People getting introduced for those experienced players.
Yeah.
Sorry for interrupting.
we had Sarah come.
Oh, you're fine.
We had Sarah come in and play against Joe.
Oh yeah.
For our play test, and she picked up the game really quick and actually beat Joe
Yeah,
pretty
that
quickly.
was really interesting. I was shocked.
But she said she enjoyed it, and she'd never played a card game before, and she doesn't really play video games at all. So
Yeah, that was
I
really
think that's
like
a good,
pleasing to hear.
Yeah, it's a really good indicator that it's pretty easy to pick up and easy to have fun with right away,
Right.
even if you're not familiar with. And we have a lot of people who are really hardcore into card games and stuff who are also really excited about playing it and making the game. So
Yeah.
I think we have some good bones to
Yeah, definitely.
flesh out.
Yeah, I know. Like,
So,
oh, what were you gonna say?
yep. No, go.
Oh, okay.
All
All I was gonna add was
so if you got more shit to say.
All I was gonna say was I remember when we first were like going to announce the card game to the rest of the company, because you know we've had this idea like running in through the back of our heads for a while, and we were kind of worried because you know everyone was so dedicated to Disharmony, and you know when we announced the card game as kind of just like a introductory piece of work to really like get us started, people were really, you know, excited. You know, they really liked the idea of a card game. We were all kind of shocked, and it was just really nice because I think that this is something that everyone's going to be really passionate about as well, and that we'll be able to get done quickly yet efficiently. All right, what were you gonna say, Barry?
I was just gonna say that you bought a PS4.
Oh,
since we
yeah.
last recorded.
Yeah, I did. I got a good deal from a friend of mine. Cough, cough, Barry. Yeah, you caved in and you got an Xbox One, so.
Yeah, what have you been playing on your? Because you're not
Oh.
a console guy. You don't.
No, I'm
have
really
consoles
not.
typically.
I mean, we had like the family Xbox 360, you know, throughout high school, and I played that. But I always was like really partial to my computer, and you know, I play everything through like Steam or whatever. And you know, I build my own computer, and you know, I always say like, oh, it runs better than any console they'll ever put out, and I can upgrade it cheaper than just buying an entirely new console for the most part. But I do really enjoy playing the PS4. Like, I pretty much got it so I could play those exclusives out there, because you know, games like Bloodborne or like Until Dawn or Uncharted, like I haven't ever touched. Like, I played PS2 back in the day, and I remember like those exclusives like Shadow of the Colossus and Ratchet and Clank were like some of my favorite games. So, you know, I really wanted to like see, you know, what exclusives there are out there for me to play again, and it was a really good opportunity for me to like get one cheaply so I can play it. I've been playing a lot of Destiny: The Taken King lately.
What level are you?
I'm right now at 19.
Oh, that's not too bad.
Yeah, I haven't used the like orb thing to level up to 25 either. I just like want to go through it and experience for what it is. I heard that like I dabbled with it a little bit over winter break because my brother has it for Xbox. I didn't get very far though, and to me like the story just like it was okay, but you have to really just see it as an MMO. For the MMO aspect, like it's really great. Like I really love the like the matchmaking and just like how you get to play your character. Like they have really cool abilities, and I think Bungie did really well at that. It's just my only gripe is it seems to echo back to Halo a lot, early Halo, which I mean I guess is okay. I've also been playing that Ratchet and Clank remake. That's really pretty. I like that a lot. Heard the movie got terrible reviews though, which is really funny. Because
I heard it was a cutscene that you kept wishing the game would start.
I don't doubt that. I mean, we all know that video game movies are pretty.
Hey, that I'm hopeful for that Warcraft movie coming out.
I
got hopes for it.
I don't have high hopes for it.
I don't have high hopes. I got hopes.
You
that
have
I
like
wanna, walk out.
I got high hopes for that movie.
It looks interesting. There's a lot of CGI to it. Though.
See, I'm one of those people that like knows the like for when they'll turn books into movies that I know the Warcraft lore basically cover to cover by heart. So I'll sit there and go, "That's not right. That's not right."
Yeah, the only
You would never say that.
Yeah, the only video game movie that I've really followed that I can think of off the top of my head is Resident Evil, and I only watched
Dude, Max
those.
Payne was a great movie.
I haven't seen that.
It's a good movie.
What I was gonna say was the Resident Evil movies. Like, I pretty much just watched them for what Mila Jovovich running around like blowing people's heads off. Like, they're good action movies, not much more. Ratchet and Clank's animated though, so that was a really different, you know, video game movie too. I mean, I guess they're doing the Angry Birds movie too, but that's like way different than like following a story from like an actual campaigned game.
Right.
So yeah.
I mean, there'll never be a video game movie better than, you know, Super Mario Bros. So.
Oh, Barry, have you seen that? The old Super
No.
Mario? Oh my
No.
gosh.
I heard so many stories about it though.
Oh god. Who was the lead in that movie? Like, wasn't it like a pretty popular actor?
John Leguizamo.
Yeah, it was like a-
Yeah.
the little short fat guy from Rat Race was Mario. Not Danny DeVito, but I don't know the guy's name.
Danny DeVito. What about you know that Detective Pikachu game that Nintendo's been teasing for a while?
That petition goes through.
Yeah, the petition for Danny
Bob
DeVito.
Hoskins.
What?
We gotta go solve the case.
There you go. So this is the first podcast we did since we did the 24-hour live stream.
Oh yeah.
As
You wanna talk about that?
as we wrap up, I don't know if you guys have any thoughts about how that went or that experience was.
That was cool. I wish I could have been there longer.
Yeah, I wasn't there very long either. I had a really busy day. But you know, I saw a lot of the highlights from it, and when I was in the room, it looked like everyone was having a great time, and we had a good following for various chunks of the night. Hopefully we can get it up even higher the next time we have a live stream. I know Barry, we were like we're gonna do like a 24-hour live stream like annually or like biannually or something like that from now on.
Yeah, twice a year.
Yeah.
So the next one will be in August, and we're gonna do every Halo game in order, back to back.
Right. Yeah, that'll be a lot of fun. Is there gonna be matchmaking too, like in between, or we could do like custom?
What we're gonna
games?
do is we could do multiplayer. We could do like run through the campaign and then do a quick like multiplayer
I think there are like
tournament
some
or
like
something.
very cool custom games that like we could play from like Halo 3 or something. That would be a lot of fun.
But
It was like Hotline Miami, some of those clicker games, but it just piss you off.
Yeah, I think that'll be good.
Yeah.
We were planning on doing, because the games have the co-op for the story, up to 4-player co-op,
Oh.
and we were gonna do a 4-people co-op on that for the stream.
Yeah. That would be really fun. Do we have enough?
And run them all.
Do we have
run
enough
them all
controllers for
legendary.
that?
Yeah, I have 2 and Joe has 2.
Okay, cool. Yeah, that'll be a lot of fun.
Yeah, see if we can get Emily pissed off again. But I think that wraps it up for this week, and we'll be back next week.
And we hope you enjoyed hearing the news about Glory. We're very excited to bring this out.
Yeah, there's going to be a lot more news and hopefully some art we'll be able to put up over the coming months about that.
Yeah, definitely.
You got any closing comments, Law?
Fun to be on the podcast. Hope to do it again soon. Yeah. My first podcast.
Yeah,
So,
it was nice having you.
yeah, where's my gold star?
It'll come in the mail
That's what-
in like 3 weeks.
Alright.
No, it's like the Oscars. You got to pay for your trophy. You got to pay for your gold star.
You got to get mauled by a bear.
No, did you know that with the Oscars you have to buy your trophy? It's like $200.
Yeah, I did. It's really kind of hilarious.
That's pretty fucked up. Like, hey man, congratulations. Now, about that trophy.
I have to buy a new suit.
I mean, they have
My
money.
hair is, and you want me to pay for the trophy?
I know, like, Best Picture gets, like, every single person who worked on it has the option to get a trophy. But can you imagine that you're just some dude on it and you're part of a Best Picture and you just don't have the, like, available money to spend $200 on a trophy?
Right.
That would be so depressing.
Yeah.
Alright, and now we'll leave everyone on that depressing note. Go like us on Facebook at Ex Machina Studios and on Twitter at Ex Machina Studio.
Yep. Oh, and stay tuned to our YouTube channel. We'll have more podcasts out every week. And
Monday's gonna be.
Mondays.
Hopefully
Monday is our.
art for the Facebook page soon.
Yeah, it's Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Check out any of our pages. It'll have all of our content every week.
Mm-hmm. All right. I I think that's it. That's a wrap. All right. Okay, cool.